This is Mark Washington from MTC Media with the voice of George Mason, Bill Rohland. Bill, can you describe what's it been like with the coaching change and this fast start by George Mason?
Yeah, 3-0 start after their win today over Morgan State, and only actually the fifth time in school history since they've been a D1 program that they've started 3-0, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. It's 40 years, and they've only done it 4 other times that they've started off 3-0. So, yeah, I mean, as Coach English says all the time, the foundation that Coach Paulson left here was pretty good. I mean, Josh Oduro is not a Kim English guy. Josh Oduro is a Dave Paulson guy. Xavier Johnson is a Dave Paulson guy. So there just needed to be a change. For whatever reason, it wasn't working. But from where we were to where we left off with Coach Paulson, I thought he brought us, getting back to where we need to be as a program. But the confidence that he has instilled in these guys is pretty impressive. The guys he's brought in, I mean, Deshaun Schwartz and Ticket Gaines and Cooper, I mean, it goes on and on and on. These are all high-level guys that can compete in the A-10.
How impressive have it been, especially for the guys who did come in under Paulson, to flip midstream and play a different style of basketball and the ability to play it at this level so far?
Yeah, I think all these guys, I mean, if you think about it, this is a very much a style that a lot of AAU programs use, because when you're playing AAU, you're not in a gym 2 to 3 hours every day practicing. They can do a little bit more. It's a little more sophisticated than just run and gun, but it is a lot, as you know, of what AAU programs run. It's space, it's pace, it's shoot to 3, it's 4 round 1, it's 5 out. So I'm not sure that it's that much harder or different for a lot of these guys. It may be going back to what they were used to, whether it was high school or AAU. But sure, I mean, they like playing fast. I mean, you ask any of these guys, you're like, you gonna give me shots? I'll play as fast as you want. You give me shots. And so far, I mean, just like tonight, they hit 15 threes. They're 15 of 33. And I think, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys hit a 3, and 9 different guys took a 3. So their shots are there to go around.
The first 3 games here, the student section and just the atmosphere has been so good. Are you seeing an uptick in people being excited about this year and kind of starting anew?
Yeah, I think so. And of course, I've been around it for a long time, so I know a lot of the season ticket holders. And last year, it's tough because you can only put, 250 people in last year with the COVID year, and there weren't a lot of students that were coming. And so I think it's tough because if you're a student, you remember a couple of years ago when the team was just okay. And so you hear about the change in coaches and everything else, but I'm not sure that it's gotten all the way through. It will be interesting to see how it goes through the first semester. I don't even think about coming back from South Dakota after they play in that tournament. Now, if they beat Maryland, all bets are off, right? Of course. But I think when they get through the first semester and you start getting into league play, and if they do well at the beginning of league play, I think you'll see this place packed even more with students. I think it'll start getting out that, hey, our basketball team's pretty good and it's fun to go to the games. I still, I'm not complaining at all about 3 wins by double digits. There is still a time, not necessarily tonight, but in the Penn game, when we went on a 12-0 run in like a minute 30. Like, it was a blitz. And I'm looking around like students are just kind of like sitting there, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You guys should be up. I mean, even Coach English, went to half court on the timeout and was trying to get everybody in the stands to stand up and cheer. It'll come. We've seen this place. You've been around it. We've seen this place. Again, it's Penn. It's not VCU. It's not a Richmond. It's not. If that happens against VCU, this place is going to go absolutely bonkers.
You brought up Maryland, and of course, that's the first road game, Power 5, just around the Beltway. When I look at this team, and I've seen Maryland quite a bit, it seems like that could be a very, very good game, and I would not think that George Mason will be overwhelmed by that situation.
No, I don't think it'll be an overwhelming thing. Obviously, in any sport, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, anything, when you have a Power 5 school, there's a reason they're a Power 5 school. Generally, their athletes are bigger, stronger, faster. That's why they're at Power 5 schools, and they're not at other schools. But if you think about it, Deshaun Schwartz is from a Power 5 school. Ticket Gaines is from a Power 5 school. Josh Oduro was recruited by Power 5 schools. So that's 3 guys that could possibly play, not necessarily in Maryland, but they're not going to walk in there and be like, oh my gosh, look at all the banners, this is Maryland. They're not going to be intimidated by that. Do I think Mason will win? I know Maryland's going to be favored. If they win, it's an upset. I don't think it's as big as an upset that people will make it out to, say nationally, because they're going to look at it and say, wow, it's a top 25 team, and Mason went into their place and beat them. It's not expected, but it will be if they win, it will be an upset. It's just not going to be that monumental one that everybody maybe around the country would say.
So when we look at the Atlantic 10, I know St. Bonaventure and Richmond were clearly voted the top two.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the rest of this conference, Mason could compete with every other team, including those two, by the way.
Oh yeah.
In the conference, could we finally see Mason top four? Going into
It's, you know what? It's
tournament?
possible. I think, I mean, obviously you pencil in St. Bonaventure and you pencil in Richmond as they're going to take two of those top four seeds. And quite honestly, for me, anyone from 3 to 9, maybe even 10, the way they predicted the season, any of those teams, injuries, you win a buzzer beater, could move up and down the standings. I know it's very early in the season, and teams, including Mason, are going to get better as the season goes along. But you look at VCU, their struggles early with the injuries that they've had. They scored 57 against St. Peter's, won that game by 3. They only scored 44 at home to Wagner, and Wagner only shot 35% of the game. It's not like they shot lights out. So VCU is struggling right now. Again, I think Mike Rose is a great coach. They're going to get that figured out. They have too much talent not to. But Dayton loses at home to UMass Lowell on Saturday. Again, that's a game that you probably, if you're looking at Dayton expecting them to be a top 5, top 4 team in the Atlantic 10, probably shouldn't lose that game at home. But again, it's early. There's a lot of changeover. I mean, look at the talent that's left from Dayton, gone, graduated, and everything else. There's a lot of turnover, so you may see some of these teams struggle. And I think people will look at it, going into Atlantic 10 play and be like, wow, wasn't expecting this team to be close to 500. We thought they'd be better. But once they get to Atlantic 10 play, the coaches, Anthony Grant, as I said, Mike Rhodes, all these coaches in this league will have their teams ready to go. I think it's going to be an absolute dogfight for the entire Atlantic 10 season. It's going to be a blast. St. Bonaventure may be the only one that I don't think they're going to go 18-0. They may drop a 16-2, 15-3 run. Everybody else might be like 11-7, 12-6, and then a bunch of 9-9 teams, because everybody's just going to beat up on each other, and that's what's going to make it fun.
An Atlantic 10 tournaments here in Washington, D.C.
It's here in Washington, D.C. It'll be a good time. It's nice for us not to have to go up to Brooklyn.
Yes.
You save on hotel, everything else. But yeah, I mean, it's good because the VCU fans, whether it's Brooklyn or Pittsburgh where it's been before, but especially D.C., they're going to be there. GW fans, it's just a drive right down, Pennsylvania Avenue basically to get from their campus on over. Mason fans will be there, so I'd like to see them do it more often in DC. I know that's tough because you got to get the buildings and everything else, but it should be a heck of a tournament. And again, obviously, as we speak here on November 10th, 11th, whatever the date is, St. Bonaventure is the favorite. But you get to March 10th, 11th, whatever it may be, it might be completely different by the time we get there.
No doubt. Well, Bill, thanks for joining us today. I will see you out in Maryland.
I'm looking forward to it.
I will see you out there in Maryland, and thank you for joining us
Absolutely.
today.
Anytime, guys. A lot of fun.
All right, thanks.